precedent does that set for the future of humanity? A very terrible one, I'm sure you'll agree. So the choice right now is very simple. The West can either stand aside, allow Russia to commit all kinds of war crimes in Ukraine and take over the country, appropriate all of its resources, enslave all of its people, exterminate a large amount of them, and then send whatever's left as cannon fodder against the West. And then the West will have to face a much more powerful Russia, which, by the way, will also be a lot more brazen. Because if Ukraine is allowed to fall, it will be direct proof that the West will never hold those who broke their word accountable. And then we will have a big issue. We in Ukraine and you in the West. All of us, all of the free world will have a huge issue. Or the alternative, to help Ukraine now, to provide Ukraine what Ukraine needs to stop the Russian terrorist regime and to finally end this war for good. I'm sure everybody in their right state of mind can see which of these options is cheaper, which of these options is better, which of these options is more moral, more justifiable. By any kind of metric, helping Ukraine helps the West. It's as simple as that. However, of course, as usual, the Russian terrorist regime has their own propaganda machine in full throttle. And yet we need to be able to oppose it. We need to be able to speak while we have the ability to speak. Because in Russia, they can't speak anymore. If they merely admit that there is a war going on, they go to jail for 15 years. And that is something we need to understand, my friends. Use the power whilst you have it. Use the power whilst you are able to. We should not wait for things to get worse. We should fix them while we can. Not when tackling them is inevitable. Not when we can no longer avoid them and ignore them. When everything fails, falls, and you are buried underneath, is that really the moment we're waiting for? For everything to fall apart? For the West to be on the brink of destruction? Is that what we are waiting for? Or should we perhaps remind the old saying that prevention is the best kind of cure? And we need to prevent the expansion of the Russian terrorist regime now. Stop Russia, stop the war!
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 Stop Russia!